Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Fuel the Conversation, a podcast for fuel people by fuel people. I am Freddie Riddler, and joining me as always is Mr. Kyle Sheehan. Kyle, how's it going on this great Monday morning?
Oh, it's amazing. We're halfway through our season of craziness at RCC. The propane and energy industry out in the world, they kind of taper down during the summer, right? And that means we get busy as we're doing new projects, and people are looking to make changes and improve efficiencies and do all that other fun stuff. And part of that sometimes comes down to what are they showing their customers, and is their website up to snuff? Are their social media levels where they need to be to engage their customer base? And today we're bringing in our people that we use for our own marketing and advertisements, and they'll even get to listen to this podcast 7-8 times while they edit and do everything with it. So from us, that's Vivid Image, based here in Minnesota. And you guys have been partners with us for 5-6 years now?
Oh
That's
man,
a trick
it's
question.
even longer
I
than
put you on the
that.
spot right away.
I think they've been working with us for longer than that, but we really started pulling in what their value is for our company probably about 5 years now.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yep, and it's been an amazing partnership, and you guys had the opportunity. So let me make the introductions here. We have Steve Gazer, or as our term of endearment for him, since we're in the propane industry and we've grown up in there, he's Steve Gasser for anybody in RCC and within our industry. And then we have Heidi with Vivid as well. Thank you for joining us.
It's great to be here.
They came to our customer seminar. You want to speak a little bit on how we had them come into our seminar and what our history has been with Vivid?
Yeah, absolutely. So, for those watching, either viewing us or listening to us on the different stations we produce this on, RCC Customer Seminar just happened a couple weeks ago in Myrtle Beach, and we always bring in either our partners, our sponsors, or vendors. We kind of have like a little vendor fair show, and it's a great way for our customers to get in touch with those sponsors that we normally work with. And Vivid is a little unique. They're more than just a sponsor. They're a business partner of RCC. They handle all of our marketing, artwork and ideas and everything you guys see that looks really glamorous that RCC is producing. We could thank Steve and Heidi and her team and all the people at Vivid. But one of the unique things about this group is Steve has been our keynote speaker for the last 2 years and does a great job with his presentation about the power of marketing. And it's a great keynote to reach out to our customers, because marketing, I heard somebody say marketing isn't what they say, marketing isn't fat, it's a muscle. I think somebody told me one day. And it's not just loud noise, it's producing your company, it's branding your company. And that's what I really take away from Vivid working with RCC, is they're helping us say, this is your company, and get the word out. Just don't say we're a software company. Say we're a software company. Get some excitement about it. And then that's where the whole Making Propane Sexy was kind of born from that. But I'm not going to keep talking about Vivid. I'm going to let them talk about themselves and introduce themselves and kind of let you all know who they are. So, Steve, I'm going to kick it over to you first. So give a quick introduction of who you are, what you do, and then we'll pass it over to Heidi.
Sure. Well, you left me so many things to talk about there too. So Vivid Image, we've been around since 1995. So we started in the early days of the internet. And I think what we've been really good at, and what my team is really good at, is bringing structure and process to marketing. And some people think, structure and process limits your freedom. I think it actually gives you a lot more freedom, because now we have a process to work off of, a platform, and it gives you the opportunity to go out and do a lot of other things that really showcase what make you remarkable. The seminar was so much fun because everybody there is remarkable. And when I think of remarkable, it's worthy of having a remark, worthy of talking about. And with your own business, it's hard to identify what those things are that make you remarkable. So I know even with RCC, that's one of Heidi's jobs, is to reveal what makes RCC remarkable and help build marketing tools that share that. When we're working with your customers, it's really the same thing.
So I'm Heidi, and I am an account director here at Vivid Image. It'll actually be my 8-year anniversary this weekend. So 8 years, yeah. Um, and I started in our marketing department, and then I moved to an account director 3 years ago now, something like that. And I work with RCC. I meet with Freddie and Nancy. We got a meeting this afternoon to talk about different things going on. So I get to talk with Francie quite often, but really building that marketing foundation, whether it's your website and your ads and your newsletters and emails and all of those different components that really build together to build that foundation and helping you guys make propane sexy. It's fun. I really love working with you guys and all your great ideas and seeing the relationships you have with customers and going to seminar and seeing that in real life and getting to see that interaction is huge.
And one of the great things, and thank you for that. We always like to hear positive things about our customers. That's why we do what we do. One of the great things about Vivid and what they started with was redoing our website, kind of maintaining our website. They helped redo our members page or members hub, but they also work with our customers because a lot of our customers really don't have that online presence, and they work really well creating a website for them and maintaining it for them. And the idea came up a few years ago. We had a customer say, "We really want to use your web services, RCC. However, we just don't know about how to even start a website. I don't even know if they even knew what a website was." And one of the things we said was, I wonder if Vivid could help them with that. And fast forward 2 years from now, 3 years from now, I was shocked when you brought up all the different companies, Steve, that you guys have taken underneath your wing to create those websites. It was absolutely remarkable to see that. And I was looking around at RCC staff because I'll pass them to you guys. I'll be like, "Hey, Heidi, here's someone. Hey, Heidi, here's someone." But I never know what happens after that. So talk to us a little bit about that online presence and why it's so important that when a customer comes up to us and says, "We want to use your web services module, but how do we get that on our website?"
Working with a client that especially new to the website, new to the internet world, it's what is the best next step for them. It being online is really overwhelming. And one of your clients come up to me and say, "We're told we need to be on TikTok." Well, you don't need to be on TikTok, not yet. And your target market probably is not TikTok. But what you do need is you need a good website that talks about who you are and what makes you remarkable. So for us, it's what is the best next step for you? And then once we have that step, it's helping them take small, consistent steps forward. At some point, TikTok may make sense, but there's a lot more we need to do before we get there. Heidi, you want to talk more about the onboarding process and how we do that?
Yeah. So, Freddie, Nancy, Kyle, you guys send over. Sometimes you're like, this propane company needs help with the website, and then we basically loop our team in, and it might be myself or CG from our team too. Usually works with a lot of the propane companies that come in, and we'll loop her in, and we just start with a phone call or an email saying, how can we help you? What are you looking for? And then understanding what their needs are and where they're at. Kind of meeting you where you are, and then starting with that. I kind of mentioned that before, that foundation there. Do you have a website right now? Some people don't have a website at all, and taking what you have and taking that next best step forward. And sometimes people are ready to move a little faster, sometimes a little slower, and that we go at different paces to meet people where they're at too.
Awesome. And Freddie's mentioned it too. You've done tons and tons of our customers' websites out there, kind of bringing them up and putting a new face and making it a little bit more sexy, right? Making the first part about making propane sexy is you got to present the right face out to the outside world, and a lot of times that is your website, right? That's the first impression point for a lot of people. So you talk. I know you've done quite a few websites. Do you offer other services out to either a potential customer out there or even one of our customers?
So again, a lot of it starts with a website, but based on their needs, we may get into a social media management. The obvious choice is looking at Facebook ads. We make sure that they're showing up in all the search engines. Google's the most important. And actually, Google get about your Google business profile gets about 2.7 times more traffic than your website. So what we say in your Google business profile is really important. So we'll help manage that. But also just looking at community engagement, some of the graphics and the designs that we create for the community, whether that's the sponsorships that your clients do. I'm sure there's some things that I'm missing. You want to add what I'm missing, Heidi?
Yeah. So we're a lot starts with websites, like Steve mentioned, but then we are a full service marketing agency. So if you think of marketing, you think of there's so many things we can do. And I think Freddie has learned this over time. You can always ask us, and if it's not a fit, we'll let you know or send you in the right direction. But things like review management, that's a big one too, that a lot of some of the propane companies have needed is, they need a website, but then they need their online presence managed. And then, what kind of reviews are out there? People have different opinions, and being aware of what's out there and getting more of the positive people to share, and then responding. So that's a big one, some of those first couple steps. And then, a lot of times when people come to us about websites, we have this really cool bill pay feature, but we don't know how to get it on our website. And maybe they have a website and it's 12 years old and they've never changed a single thing on it. And they're like, we need help. So that's a fun process to go through of, it can seem overwhelming, but we can take it down a notch and just kind of walk through the process and make it less overwhelming and get it so that people can actually pay that bill online. And it doesn't need to be difficult. And you can make websites really big and fancy and lots of bells and whistles, or you can keep them more simple. So there's a lot of options out there, and we like to ask the questions and get to know the business and what they're looking for. And maybe they have something else that comes up pretty often is, hey, we need some business cards. We don't know how to do the business cards. Can you design it? Yeah, we can design a business card, help get that created. And that's a pretty common, just some of those basic things, but they can really make a good first impression.
So I hear a lot of things that we've done over the years with you guys, which is awesome to hear. And I want to share a fun story, and it's going to come with a question at the end here. When we redid our logo years ago, and we've had some revisions, being a company since 1979, and Dad and Aunt Sue and Uncle Kevin fall in love with the logo, and they make it their certain way, and it's them and it's their representation out to the world. And we went from some, I think we call them eyelashes, wheat sweeps, little swishes within our logo that, when I had started working, and you guys came back and you presented us with multiple different variations of the core logo itself. And I remember when talking to my dad about this, and he's looking at it and he goes, well, we're going back, and we finally had to say the right words to trigger him to go, it looks like an app logo. And then that triggered him to go, oh, I love that thing. So how do you guys work with balancing crazy and sometimes very personal things with logos and coloring and pieces on websites with, we know the marketing strategy behind it, and we know that's not going to be beneficial. And, how do you go back and forth of balancing that with the customer needs and what is best in the marketing is going to really help their business?
So, in the end, it's your business or it's the customer's business, and you get to make that final decision. I mean, we can give you all the recommendations, and we'll give you best practices and have our team pull in and give you, this is why we've done this. This is why we recommend this. And we always want the feedback and input of the customer, the business. And it's really a back and forth of figuring out, this is best practice. This is what we recommend. Okay, well, you guys know your business best. So taking that into consideration and really communicating back and forth and getting to that point where it's a good representation and it fits that business. So it's really a give and take that we work through.
And a big part of it is just revealing your identity. So it's taking a lot of time to listen and say, this is what we heard. And that's really how we got to where we are with RCC is spending a lot of time listening.
Yeah. So before I get to the segue to making propane sexy, because I got to explain some things for some of the viewers that are wondering what is going on. thanks for the 3 versions of logos that I've worked through RCC, making me buy new polos every 2 to 3 years. I finally just got rid of the last swoosh or wheat or whatever it is. Yeah, there it is. See, I got a different logo right here. Thank you for sticking with the original. Now I can start buying clothes again. But no, and you brought up a good point, Steve, as you said we listen, right? I remember this is a perfect segue into making propane sexy. Last year, 2023, you were doing your first keynote with RCC at the Radisson Blue Mall of America RCC customer seminar. You called me up. You said, "All right, Freddie, talk to me about what's going on in the propane industry," because you were starting to kind of gather your idea of what you're going to talk about. And I remember talking to you about, just some of the things, random things. And I don't know how we got on this subject, but I said I was at I just came back from the Southeastern NPGA Southeastern Expo in Charlotte. And you said, we were talking about the keynote speaker, and I'm like, yeah, she was like out of control, aggressive, was awesome. She was jazzed, she was pumped. And she's like, we got to start making propane sexy. And you're like, tell me more about that. And I remember because I was like, she kept asking questions like, why can't you retain drivers? It's not exciting. Why? Because we don't, is the money? No. Why? It's because this, or why? Because this, why? Because this. And I remember the one lady going, because propane isn't sexy. And then the keynote speaker says, then make it freaking sexy. Make propane sexy. And I tell you, and I tell Vivid, and I tell Heidi, and I tell everyone there at Vivid, and I remember we're coming up with this new branding, this new artwork, and you start from like RCC full page display for this magazine, and there's four of them. And it was like the first one was cool, the second one was all right, this is kind of getting really good. The third one, I was like, wow, this is really good. And then the fourth one was a little risque. And I'm like, okay, I don't know if we can pull this off. But the whole purpose of our message of making propane sexy isn't looks or visual. It's more of let's get excited about the propane industry. Let's get excited. Let's make this fun. Let's make the seminars fun. Let's make the trade show and expos fun. Let's make the keynotes fun. Get this excitement that propane isn't this old, smelly product that's 1,000 years old, that, it's this new generational of ownerships are coming through. Kyle's a second gen owner of RCC. If you look at all of our customers are second gens, third gens, fourth gens. That's our target audience. And you guys nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. And we ran with it. And in fact, I remember Kyle going to me, hey, are we bringing sexy back in 2025? And I started dying laughing. And he goes, I mean, making propane sexy. And that's how it all just flowed into the seminar this year. But talk about that. Like in your mind, making propane sexy, what does that mean to Vivid? Like what did that mean to you guys to take that concept and produce like visual aids of it?
Well, I'll start. It was a lot of fun actually to put together a presentation around making propane sexy, but also being a little careful with it. But what I love about it is it's remarkable. It's something people are talking about. I remember Heidi and I were walking through the hotel 2 weekends ago, and I was wearing the Making Propane Sexy shirt, and I had people stopping me, asking me what that means. And it started great conversations because they were making remarks about it.
So when we had the conversation about the ad campaign and that kind of thing coming up for this year, we pulled in our team. It's not just me. Britt from our content team, Carly from our design team, and just like sat down and are like, okay, what can we do with this? And how can we turn it in and create a buzz and create that, it's still professional. You're still a very professional company, but make it fun. And, it's a little, not every company is willing to go there. And so we're like, okay, how far can we go? And that's where the options came in. A little more conservative, a little, that there's options and we can work with it and get that out there and make it catchy and create that buzz and get people talking about it. And there's a landing page website too that kind of explains more about it. So if you want to learn more, and I remember we presented it to you and you're like, the excitement in your eyes was so exciting. We were just excited. And then you're like, okay, I got to take this and run it past the leadership team. And we're like, fingers crossed that it'll go. And yeah, it's really just taking what you say. Freddie, I'm in these calls with you and Nancy, and just we're absorbing. Here's all Freddie's ideas, and how do we take them and turn them into something amazing and remarkable. And it's really been fun, and it's fun to see it take off and like bring it into that seminar and see RCC customers be excited about it and understand making propane sexy, what that means. And it means a little bit different to everybody. It's vague enough that you can kind of apply it to your own business. And yeah.
Yeah, before I kick it over to you, Kyle, one more comment about that. Nate and I went to the Southeastern show this year, and part of making propane sexy is our user experience. And it's not just our version 10, the way it looks, because it looks great. I'll be honest, our version 10 looks great. The dark theme, the colors pop out, the watermarks, the depth of it, but it's the user experience too. And when Nate and I were doing this fast track on building a better user experience, the amount of research we did, it's shocking how many people are less stressed working with something easier to use, lighter on the eyes, the colors make sense, focal points make sense. So it just brings all of that into play with our software and our team and our company. And it's really exciting to see that all kind of unfold. Go ahead, Kyle. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's good. And I was just going to say too, this is just a testament to finding marketers and finding people out there that you can trust. Because when Freddie returned back to the leadership team with that making propane sexy, you might not have gotten to be in those conversations within those four walls.
It wasn't unanimous.
It was not unanimous in any way. And I'll be upfront and honest. I was one of the people on the other side going, there is a risk here, right? There's a risk when you use certain words and you make it so that kind of people can imagine their own thing on what that means. And in the end, Freddie said, and he really kept us all grounded. He said, they're the experts. We got to trust them. Mm-hmm. And that was the unanimous choice within those walls of, we trust you. You're the experts in this area. There's a reason that we reached out and partner with you in programs like and doing things like this. And that would be my advice to our customer base or to others as well. If you determine or find a weakness somewhere, whether that's marketing, whether that's design for logos, or you find that area, you guys did a great job of coming in going, here it is, but then also launching us and propelling us into what it could be with making propane sexy. And the validation was our customer seminar this year. And I'd just like to get your guys' take. How did you feel like the user base has taken that? Because I thought that was truly amazing, watching our users just snowball this idea, and it really came to light at the seminar this year.
Yeah, your clients, they're like family. I know when Heidi and I, this is our second year coming, and it just felt like family, getting to know everybody again. And Kyle, you mentioned a word called trust. And I think, with trust, there's four things in the combination lock of trust. It's, character. Are you a person of high character? Chemistry. Are you somebody that I enjoy spending time with? And I think, everybody there they had that character and chemistry. And I think that's probably someplace that you lead with. But the other parts of building trust is competency and credibility, the brain side. Do you know what you're doing? And can you take your competency and prove to me you can solve my problems? What I loved about the seminar, about all the people there, is you have all of that. You're leading with the heart and the head. And we really felt, that I always lead with chemistry. When I like you, then I feel like we can move on into the relationship. And you guys just did a brilliant job, I think, on the chemistry side, but then also proving that you have the skills to really solve their specific problems. And that's kind of what we want to do too. We tend to lead with chemistry. We want to know that we like you first before we get into a deep relationship and proving our competency. I don't know if that kind of answered your question, but you talked about trust, and I look at trust as those four levers. And We really lead with chemistry. I think a lot of RCC. You guys lead with chemistry too.
Yeah, it really is. It's about making sure if you can't talk to that other person on the phone and you wind up with a argument at the end of every call, you might not have a great partnership moving forward, right? And and we must obviously like each other if we've been doing work together this long. At least you like Freddie.
There was one thing that kind of stuck out to me at the seminar too. There's your it's an education session and people are there learning things, so you get that credibility and you get that where they're learning. And then the chemistry, people are there, they're having fun, they're laughing, you're playing bingo, you're giving out the $2 bills, Taylor Swift pops up, and there's those kind of fun things too. But people are really learning a lot about what the RCC software can do. And the one part that really stuck out as I was sitting in some of the sessions is how honest the customers will be. They're going to ask questions, and if they have an idea, they're sharing it. If they're not quite sure how something works, or hey, maybe could this do that, it's like this great big conversation for 3.5 days, and it's just open back and forth. And that's something that really stuck out to me as I was sitting in some of the sessions, was just that honest, open conversation that's there. And it, nobody takes it personal. If somebody has a little bit of critical feedback, that's great. Give it to us. We'd love to know, and we'd love to improve. And maybe there's something you can learn from this too. So it was really fun to see that whole interaction.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of feedback for sure. You can always tell the group or the where people sit every single year at the seminar, which ones have a lot of feedback. But it's also a great time. Like I'll call out one company. They've been an RCC customer since I think they said 1999 or 96 or 98, late 90s, and this was their first seminar. And that's the ones I want to focus on. That's the ones that's like, why did it take so long for them to come? Because we have a lot of people that attend, but me personally, I'm like, how do I get that guy and his company? Because there's more than just that one company out there that haven't been to one. So this is why we do the fun and exciting, and then we the trust and the chemistry, that all comes into play, because at our seminar it all kind of unfolds. There's just a mixed bag of emotions that are happening throughout those 3.5 days, maybe 4 days next year. I'm not going to wreck nothing now, but we just keep running out of time, and it's like pretty soon it's gonna be like a 2-week vacation for people. But yeah, it's a great event, Kyle. No. So Heidi and Steve, to kind of wrap things up here a little bit, if anyone has any questions watching this or listening to it, how can they get a hold of you? Whether it's websites, business cards, I know you guys do a lot with our Google reviews, which is awesome. You guys do all the heavy lifting when it comes to our Google reviews. How can they get a hold of you? What's the best way they can reach Vivid?
Just built out a landing page for RCC clients, and that's vividpropanemarketing.com. It's probably one of the best ways to reach out. There's a little contact form, and our contact information will be there. We'll also keep it updated with a lot of news around the industry and how to market your propane company.
Awesome. Any closing remarks?
If
Kyle or
anyone's looking for
Steve?
references on some of the work they've done, you can check out rccbi.com. That was heavily influenced over there. You can look at our Facebook page, Rural Computer Consultants. You guys manage that for us. You can look at our LinkedIn. You can see those posts there. So if anyone's looking for anything that Vivid's done as a, hey, here it is, that's all our stuff is right there.
All the industry magazines as well. Full page, island pages. Yep, absolutely. Newsletters. Hope you're all getting our newsletter as well.
Business cards. You need a business card out there.
Yep. Look at all the artwork coming up.
There you go. Within hands reach, I can pull about 5 things that have a Vivid mark on them in some way. I personally like to. Yeah, I personally like
the new customer hub. That was a fun project.
Right.
Members hub. Yep.
So many things out there. I personally like to say thank you guys so much. This has been such an amazing partnership to watch evolve and build over the years. And I think Freddie would probably knock down a door if he ever found out he couldn't talk to you guys. So I absolutely love the relationship that's built, and there's tons and tons of trust there. So thank you guys both so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you for joining Kyle and Freddie's podcast, Fuel the Conversation.
A podcast for fuel people by fuel people. We really hope you enjoyed today's topics and you found them interesting, and we hope that you pulled some value out of our conversation today.
To hear more podcasts from Kyle, myself, and special guests, you can catch us on Spotify, Amazon Music, or the iTunes Store.
To find out more information on RCC, you can visit our website, www.rccbi.com. You can also find us on Facebook under Rural Computer Consultants, also under LinkedIn under Rural Computer Consultants, or go ahead and give us a follow on Twitter at RCCInc79.
If you'd like to contact us directly, email us at sales@rccbi.com.
This is Kyle signing off.
And this is Freddie.
Until next time.